Big news and probably following it. Meghan Markle giving us some food for thought today. She was in conversation with Paris Hilton on her Archetypes podcast. Meghan saying she was reduced to a bimbo at the start of her career when she was on Deal or No Deal. We remember that job she had, right? You might have seen her. Okay, Anne-Marie, being a bimbo, I gotta ask, is that necessarily a bad thing when clearly in her case it, catapulted her to other things in her career?
Well, I've never heard the word bimbo be used in an admiring context. So that's number one. I would say let's just dust that one off, and we don't ever need that one again. Beauty is a tool. It's a professional tool. If you're a professional model, if you're a professional actor, regardless of gender, beauty might be a tool in your kit, right? Or your job is to be striking in some way. But beauty is, to diminish somebody because they're beautiful and to say that means that you don't have a voice is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's like an interesting thing of like, what do we mean by bimbo? Like, what do you think when you think about that word? Like, what it just means that you're beautiful and dumb. Like, those two always go together, right? Like,
yeah.
We're saying that because you're beautiful and you're not, we're just going to assume that you're dumb. Is that what we mean?
It's the objectification of women, and it's always diminishing, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sorry to disappoint you because you're like, you've never heard bimbo used in a flattering way, but like, I have to say, I've never been bimboed and I've always wanted to be. Like
You need to explain that. You need to explain that.
I was growing up, like in high school, if they were choosing to cast the role of a bimbo, I always wanted to be considered in the play. If they were casting for the school calendar and there was a certain type they were looking for, it was never me. Like, I've always wanted to be objectified. And because I haven't had the experience. And this is a very insulting thing to say because people who have been objectified are traumatized by it and have had experienced pain from it. And so I do not mean to be insulting. That said, I've never been put on that kind of beauty spectrum.
The brainless beauty spectrum?
Beauty and brainless spectrum. Like, I kind of want to live there. And maybe it's because I
don't think that's true. I don't think you would want to live in people thinking that you were dumb. Beautiful but dumb.
I'm a gossip columnist. People already think I'm dumb, so I would love if they could add beautiful to that. Like,
yeah, but you're dumb like a fox.
I think that
you're a fox.
It's very flattering. It's flattering for you to say. It's very flattering for you to say that, obviously, because you are so brilliant. But I don't think that there are a lot of people out there who, when I was growing up, would have called me dumb like a fox. They would just be like, oh, unremarkable. Not even remarkable enough to be a bimbo. That's all. I mean, listen.
Here's the thing. That's why, okay, I want to take what you're saying and connect it back to what Meghan was saying, because I got to say, I cringed at a lot of listening to Meghan Markle and Paris Hilton talking about it was so hard being looked at as a bimbo. Life was so hard. I gotta say, I do not have a lot of sympathy for that position, specifically for those two women. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because it's call it the pretty privilege, call it the beauty bias. They actually had that in their toolkit. They utilize it, and both of them are millionaires because of it. So the fact is, not everybody. And for that...
Not everybody what? Finish that so I can put my hand up.
Yeah. Not everybody has that option.
Right.
And that's the difference, right? So Paris is like, oh, yeah, I did Simple Life and everybody thought I was a bimbo. You're the heiress of a massive multi-million-dollar family. You actually have choices. There are women who are making money off of their looks and their bodies, but they don't have a choice. So I don't have... Sorry, Meghan, I'm always on Team Meghan, but in this case... that job, she knew what she was walking into. Her job was to open a suitcase. It wasn't to give a speech at the UN.
Sure, that's a good point. But I guess maybe what she's trying to point out was maybe the concern she had at that time was that she would only ever be seen as a beautiful woman and no one would ever recognize that she had intelligence. Well, I think that that's an interesting point. Like, do you run the risk early in your career if you make certain choices as always being typecast in a certain way? I'm sure there's a million and one stories that would be that. I have a story, though, that maybe contradicts that. Like, early on in my career, right here in this building, I was an intern and, just starting out, wanted to be a producer, wanted to be taken very seriously. And a musician / producer in the building asked me to be in a music video. And the music video was this band called Jet Fuel.
Your dream.
You've probably never heard it. It also featured Rob Bass, I kid you not,
I feel
from
like
like
you're
It Takes
taunting
Two.
me right
Remember
now.
that song?
You're taunting me.
I'm not taunting you. No, he asked me to be in it, and here's the thing. I was one of a handful of what you can only call video vixens. Like, that's what I was basically being asked to do, and I had to lip sync a line. The line that I am lip syncing is, "Boy, I want to be your toy. I want to take you all the way." I am not exactly looking back. If I had a daughter now, I would be like, "Don't do that. That's not a good idea." Having said that, did that cross my mind at that time? No, I didn't care. And it really, in the end, didn't impact my career at all. I never worried during that time that I wouldn't still be seen as intelligent, because both things can exist. I do think that ultimately you can, obviously we know this, you can be seen as sexual, you can be seen as sexy, and you can still be smart. You don't need to be reduced to anything.
That's what I wanted. I would never have been asked to say, "Boy, I want to be your toy." But I'm good. I can do it. I can do it. But I was never given that opportunity. I want to video vixen. Oh, I'm so jealous. My jealousy right now is about to come out in the form of like a cake, and I want to eat it. Like, I'm so jealous, Cynthia.
Thank you. Please bring it back home. Please bring it back home.
What have we learned here today?
I think when you're in charge of it, that's what makes all the difference. And I respect a hardworking woman. Whether it's, I don't respect everything Paris Hilton has chosen to do over her long career. I respect grit. I respect seizing hold of the controls and giving other women a leg up and some help. And yeah, being in charge, right? Meghan Markle is she's a hardworking woman. Yep. Yeah. And she doesn't have to be completely consistent. And in the words of a great poet, do I contradict myself? Very well, then I contradict myself.
Yes! And that's where we're gonna wrap this up. Wise words instead. We're gonna call some people we know. Drake, if you're watching, you want to
Drake, objectify me.
Look at her.
Please objectify me.
All right, we're gonna put that one to bed. We are gonna take a quick break, but on the other side, should kids specialize in one single sport? Why one writer is arguing it does them a disservice. This is gonna get hot, I think. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
Hey there! Wasn't that great? Do you know where you can find some equally good content? Our YouTube page. It's filled with discussions, debates, and some laughs. Head there now, like and subscribe.